Hey y'all, you just watched me dig up the crotons from the front yard bed, and I am moving them around to the northwest bed, the corner of the house where I've been cleaning up. So now let me get them in the ground. This is the northwest corner of the house. I've cleaned this bed a couple days ago, and I decided that I was going to move these crotons here. So I'm going to just go ahead and dig some holes using my auger and get these guys in the ground. There is a um, what's the thing called, um, weed fabric underneath this bed that I put here because this used to be all grass, so it does make digging a little bit difficult. um, I don't regret putting the fabric here, because if I didn't, I'd be going through the struggles that I go through next to the barbecue grill, where the grass weeds just come up relentlessly and I just cannot do anything to get them out. So I'm also working around trying not to hit my Comcast cable, which also goes through this bed. I know that it's tucked back close to the hibiscus plants, but I'm not quite sure where, because once my flags come out, I don't ever remember where. So I'm going to be putting these in kind of a close drift. I just want to make sure that I'm leaving enough space along the front of the bed to be able to come back with something low growing, maybe a sedum or something flowering. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but I want to fill this bed pretty tight so that I can control the weeds and not really have to maintain this bed too much. I relocated three of the drift roses that were running along the front of this bed and kind of bunched them up. That's what's sitting right in front of the crotons now. I'm going to go ahead and get those guys fertilized so that they can push some new growth and get ready for spring. I doubt that I will cut them all the way back as is suggested, but I still might, because it's just October and we are not getting very cold anytime soon, but fall is coming. We do feel it. At this point, I have about half of the crotons in the ground, so I am just fighting with a couple of spots that had a few rocks in them, and I did find the Comcast cable. I didn't cut it. My auger slid right underneath it, which is a good thing about using auger. If I'm using my shovel, I tend to go right on top of it, and it's a couple tries before I realize that it's right there. So I'm going to move the camera around so you guys can see from the other angle what's happening. Just a couple more to get in, and then I'll show you guys the finished product. These came out of the ground with pretty shallow root systems, so I'm not digging these holes too deep. I'm trying to keep them pretty close to where they were in the ground up at the front yard. Um, it's going pretty quick. I am having to squeeze some of the roots into the holes because I don't want to make them too wide and have them wobble around just in case we get another storm to come through. But this has really been a quick job. It's been pretty dry the last couple of days, but because we got saturated with so much water from those two hurricanes that came through in the past 2 weeks, I'm not going to water these in on video, but my sprinklers are scheduled to come on tomorrow, so they will get some additional water. They are pretty moist though. This stem separated from another one that was closely planted with it, probably came out of the same container, so it's really, really narrow. My hope is that the diadella to the back there will fill in and kind of come through these crotons a little bit. So I'm going to tuck this narrow piece right in front of it, just to the side. And that's it, guys. Those are all of the crotons from the front yard. They have been moved into their new home. Hopefully they'll stay here because this is the third location for them. They started out in the raised beds at the front window and then were moved after the fall season was over. And I'm not liking them up front. I want to do something different up there. So this bed is becoming its own, and I think once all of the plants that had to be cut back from the storm, once those guys start to fill in, I think this is going to be really pretty with a lot of different textures and lots of color. Thanks so much for following along with me, guys. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.